I'm still like, I'm an introvert for sure, but like I'm very like flamboyant. Like I'm very outgoing. I can be. So
Yeah.
it's a completely different person, completely different life. And it was like that moment I left. There's
Hmm.
like a couple day like transition period where I was like, okay, like this is how the real world works. But otherwise it was it's pretty easy transition.
Yeah. How did you come to the realization that you wanted to leave and were going to leave?
Um, well, I was thinking like, because obviously once you come of age, like 18 years old, you're able to make that decision. Um, but 2 days before my 18th birthday, I ended up tearing my rotator cuff in my arm. So I was like, man, like all the plans that I did have to leave, like now I don't know if I'll be able to do that and like not struggle with it. So I forced myself to kind of like stick it out basically another year. So I didn't leave until a few weeks before I turned 19 because I needed to heal and I needed to actually come up with a plan to leave.
Hmm.
Um, but it wasn't ever really like a decision. I was just kind of like, all right, well, I'm not staying here. Like, why would I want to stay in this hateful environment, like doing stuff that's hurting people that, I don't know. Like, it wasn't even a question. It wasn't even a thought. I was just like, all right, well, I'm not meant to be here. Like, this is not my place to be. So, um, I worked I worked for, um, the, no, I worked for the county, like sports
Hmm.
leagues and stuff like that. Yeah. So I worked as a scorekeeper and like site supervisor for like softball games and stuff like that. My boss, she was gay and I was very open with her about not wanting to be with the family anymore. So she opened up her house to me. So when I left home, I just moved all my stuff to her house, and she I don't know, she just made me feel very accepted. So I felt safe and comfortable leaving and just going to her. Um,
Hmm.
and I didn't tell anybody in my family. Like it was the night of July 4th, so
Yeah.
Independence.
Yeah.
Um, all the fireworks are going off around Topeka, so nobody in my parents' house could hear me moving my stuff. Like I was able, with all the noise, I was able to get everything down to my car without getting caught or heard. Got everything into my car, and then pulled out of the driveway, and that was that leaving. And I just got to the my boss's house and texted my parents, and I was like, hey, like I don't want to stay. Like this is not where I feel I'm supposed to be, and I don't want to be using resources like their money and stuff that you could
Hmm.
be using to support my siblings, because I'm the fifth of 10 kids, so there's 5 kids underneath me that still need to get fed and
Hmm.
everything. So um didn't get any sleep that night. My mom texted me a few hours later, like she'd woken up. It's weird. It's like my parents had like this got like this vibe that something was off. So my mom woke up early and saw that I texted her, and all she said was like, "Hey, are you sure that this is what you want to do?" And I was like, "Yeah, like I don't like this is not for me. This is not right." Um, and so that was that. She was like, "Okay." And like that moment, they're like, "All right, you're no longer our daughter." Um, oh yeah, like the next day, like my dad pulled up in the truck, gave me all of my big furniture that I couldn't move,
Hmm.
handed me a folder with all of my like legal documents and stuff, my passport, my birth certificate, everything. He's like, "Here," and that's the last interaction I had with my dad. He just was like, "Here you go." Closed the bed of the truck, got in the truck, and drove off. That was the last thing interaction I had with my father.
Do you
Um,
see? Do you see that as a kind of? I mean, because in a kind of formal way in the church, if someone leaves, then they cut all ties and they're no longer a part of the family.
mhm.
But the fact that your dad turned up with all the stuff that you couldn't carry and all your documents, do you see that as a kind of supportive father, act of a supportive father, or was it just sheer like we don't want your stuff in the house?
No, not with my father. With him, it was more like, all right, well, that's fine here, because like I've being a troubled child, like I was a kid that was always causing issues. So there was always that thought, I guess, in my parents' head that I wasn't going to be staying. So I don't think it was necessarily surprising for them that I was like, all right, bye.
You weren't the first to leave.
No, I wasn't the first to leave, but like, you know.
Of his kids, you weren't the first to leave.
I wasn't.
Know that though.
What was I saying? No, for him, it was more like, okay, here, I'm done. Bye, have fun, live your life. But the next day, like I had a lot of food that I left at my parents' house that I was the only one that ate, because I ate healthy compared to how the rest of my family ate. So my mom texted me and she was like, hey, like none of us are going to eat this food. If you want to come pick it up on Sunday, while everyone else is out at the pickets, then I'll be here and I'll help you load it up. So I go to my parents' house. Obviously my dad's not there. He took, everyone else out to go to the Sunday pickets before church. So it's just my mom was there and my two youngest siblings were there, who I was very close with. So that was kind of hard, but
what was their reaction?
What was that?
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off then. What was your reaction of your siblings when you arrived?
Well, like they knew that I was like, that's hard.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. When you leave, obviously they tell everybody like, hey, they're gone. They're dead to us, basically. So I know that it was probably hard for them seeing me, but like there's no emotion because they don't understand that emotion. They don't understand exactly what's going on. So for me, it was emotional, but for them, it was probably like, ooh, like we're not supposed to talk to Danielle. So like they were looking at me and like just going about their business, but like they weren't allowed to like talk to me. They weren't allowed to like touch me, nothing. So it was weird. It was weird. It was like they didn't know who I was, but I did.
Yeah.
But so she had them help put all this food that none of them were going to eat just into a laundry basket. And then she helped me take it out to my car. So she puts it in my car. And this was the last interaction, like emotional interaction I had with my mother. So she helps me get the food in the car. And then she asked me again if this decision is truly what I want to do. And I explained to her again, like, yeah, like I don't want. No, I didn't tell her like, I'm gay, Mom, I'm leaving. It was just like, because it wasn't even like that. It was honestly like, I don't feel like I'm supposed to be here. I don't want to use resources, your money. I don't want to rely on you anymore when you could be using those resources to better my siblings' lives. That was honestly how it was for me. So I just explained that to her. And she hugged me and she told me that if I ever wanted to come home that I could. And I knew that I couldn't because I knew that I was gay. So I was like, there's no way. Like, I'm just going to go live my life. And this isn't going to be a thing anymore. So it was like that final moment of having my parents. And then that was it. She hugged me and that was it.
I can imagine how hard that is. Do you need a break at all, or are you okay?
I'm okay. I'm okay.
I'm good.